Piastri here in Vegas. 15,029 days since we last retired, especially in very cold conditions. The C5 is the soft. Great.
Despite an incredibly long circuit and long straight.
It's medium for the majority of the grid, all the way down to Lewis Hamilton in 10th, who starts on the hard tyre. Joe Granier and Oscar Piastri also on the hard. Lance Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda taking a bit of a Vegas gamble on an early safety car.
Before qualifying, they took downforce off the rear wing of the car. They now have the same top speed as Charles Leclerc. But of course, Max Verstappen will
use the red button on your remote control. It's a little bit like Monaco, isn't it, where you've got a curve and a bend on the main straights. And so we go. Charles Leclerc gets away well, but Verstappen's coming at him, everybody up alongside to warrant the space on the track.
His front axle was ahead of Leclerc's front axle. There's the chaos behind.
Yeah, Fernando Alonso got tapped twice, once from the rear and then once, I think he was found.
The stewards say about it, there's so many elements to that, especially in a long corner, and also this slightly easier view they take. And on the first lap, particularly at the start of a Grand Prix, pulling the handbrake on. There is no grip out there.
No, there isn't. Stroll, who started on the soft tyre, made up 10 places, now fitting under the safety car to put there. Oh, yeah. He was heading to an accident there long before he came to a standstill.
Was he actually? He lost the back end of the car. Very early doors.
Nearly took out his teammate.
So nearly took out his teammate, but yeah.
We can have a look at what we think of Verstappen against Leclerc. Martin.
Sorry, I was busy watching Fernando Alonso there spinning by himself. Yeah. We're going to see it now from his...
mops up the oil that had been deposited on the track, and it was Carlos Sainz.
Yeah,
but
team changes, I will let you know.
So they're still debating that first turn, and I'm sure they will be debating it. Karun's point that you're meant to leave a car's width.
Yep. Take a penalty, but yeah, and that penalty needs to be severe. It should be this particular incident, but a penalty like that needs to be severe. And what we're going to see them doing down the back straight as well is weaving even.
Coffee hits.
Given how little grip there must be, so Piastri on the march, making up for a very difficult qualifying session, and Hamilton now running in 12th place, and the pack all back together. And you can see them in the back there. The two.
Give it another 3-4 laps. You might see Max Verstappen nearly 5 seconds ahead here, but we will see. He's got a 5-second penalty when he next comes in, and has to come in for a pit stop because he hasn't made one yet.
Yeah, that's when they have
to doing something that stewards say he shouldn't have done, but there's no penalty really for it, as Esteban Ocon manages to get past Kevin Magnussen, who's now going to be under pressure from Oscar Piastri. And there's something about that Verstappen penalty, Martin. I just don't think it's a penalty. He needs to come into the pits. Those soft tyres have gone.
Gasly fastest man on the track that time around, as they're now starting to really get some confidence on the brakes and in the traction zones, as the two Aston
Hulkenberg and along that same strip, and right past the Eiffel Tower, that's where he made his move.
And not for the first time.
That's a long turn
now, isn't it? So who's got DRS, who's got grip, who's got confidence, and clear sight to the track. But these speeds are monster Silverstone. But as he's been in such close company with other cars, his car's starting to overheat. Otherwise, they're saying we're going to have to pull you out of the race.
Well, that will certainly help, Martin. He's set up Carlos Sainz into 14th.
Flying along nicely. Needs to overtake a few cars, though.
Do you remember Baku last time he had Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen first and second on the grid? Perez won it that night. He does love a street circuit, does that man? As I'm sure as Lewis to keep a fast starting Ocon behind them. But I think you're right, they are starting to suffer. What does Ferrari do now, though, Crofty? Leclerc has a double-edged sword. He needs to look after his top.
Do not look happy. Here comes Leclerc.
As George Russell makes his way out of the pits, and Logan Sargent comes into the pits. And, well, Charles Leclerc has now just got a few car lengths between himself and the race leader, Max Verstappen.
To the pace, though. Oh, no, Piastri's got some kind of issue.
And look there, being past Lewis Hamilton by Carlos Sainz, is now up into 6th. That's Joe Granier ahead of Hamilton, who knocks the bollard out of the way. Fernando Alonso now gets past him, and Hamilton is really struggling.
Difficult to get the jacks under the car, but 6.3 seconds for Hamilton.
As a result, he comes out behind Daniel Ricciardo. Two race controls noted this incident.
He's in the medical center now. He's not back yet, but reports are he's okay. He's just being checked out. So I think it was just wind and it was a very big hit.
Good to hear. Thanks ever so much, Zach. George Russell getting past Joe Guan Yu. Just had a problem at turn 5. I'll give you confirmation in a couple of seconds as we go back on board with Sergio. And so with Verstappen,
he's lost a lot of time behind Joe Guan Yu. A lot of time.
The hard tyres on and away the Frenchman goes. That's okay-ish. But Ferrari say that the engineers to Leclerc are just telling him about the lap times and reminding him to manage his tyres. So this
Carlos Sainz might be able to play a part for his teammate Charles Leclerc here, because Verstappen, if I just set the latest fastest lap in this race, has got to clear Russell, Alonso, and then Sainz. Tsunoda comes in, side him into turn 1 and lets him go. Verstappen on those fresher tyres than the Spaniards. Karun Chandler at Sky Race Control.
Yeah, got your volume, catch your breath. Just I will try and recap a little bit here because of
To his advantage. Does Russell attack or does Russell defend? Either way, this is gonna turn into a turn 14 where 3 cars can all be arriving all at once. Going well, hasn't stopped yet in this race, and at the points, and Oscar Piastri in 10th ahead of Esteban Ocon, who's just set a new fastest lap of the race.
The Ferrari pit wall, their hearts would have sunk a little bit. They could have done with Verstappen ready to head onto the strip. And whether Russell didn't know he was there or not, he sort of came out of the blue, didn't he?
Well, he was a lot further along, but he's up now into 5th place. Sainz makes his pit stop too. Alonso, Joe, as we were mentioning, Stroll, as Ted mentioned, and Perez, who's lost the lead to Charles Leclerc.
Only have 2 sets of the hard compound tyres for the entire weekend, so they haven't run them. If they keep bolting off brand new ones like that, they know very little about them.
That was Carlos Sainz.
They'll lose some air performance because it affects the air travelling all down the side of the car and then underneath it as well. So Verstappen will lose performance. What they didn't want to do is spend 12, 14 seconds changing it, like losing.
Okay, copy. And this is where he needs to be a little bit careful. He wants to get the jump when we get the restart. Doesn't want to push too hard. Wants the restart. Lance Stroll is going to try and hold off Alex Albon, whilst the other Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso gets past the other Williams of Logan Sargent. And that was a decent...
What is a wrap? That's truly yours.
Decent move there. Alonso up to 11th. There is necessarily mean it's going to the steward's room. The race control saw something they didn't like.
Perez, look at him homing in on the Ferrari already.
This is turning into be a very fine night for Sergio Perez, and a night.
This is in this, I would say, the strongest position of any of the traditional front-running teams and drivers out there for a victory tonight. He's got a fast car, decent tyres, and bit between fast to keep your battery charged up. Not a lot of big braking zones and areas like that where you can harvest. That's why you see them harvesting in a straight line.
DRS enabled, as you can see. We're on board Ferrari, but he's not quite got long enough down that 1.2 miles to get an overtaking.
Interesting then. So the skinny rear wing on the Ferrari, battery fully charged as a defence mechanism down there. And it wasn't quite
into the Bellagio and the Eiffel Tower and the Paris Hotel on the left-hand side. They want to turn left down at Planet Hollywood. Is this going to be a blockbusting move for Sergio Perez as they come towards turn 14? Perez goes down the inside, kicks Leclerc, whose misfortune, who's slightly worse luck than average, might have before them again tonight. Safety car, second safety car coming out at the wrong time for him. Pierre Gasly, Ocon up in the 5th, but Gasly's going to fight this back again and gets the place back again. We have seen the 2 Alpines going wheel to wheel at other stages this season. Sometimes Ferrari looking forwards to the rear of Sergio Perez and looking
to defend against my teammates.
You would, wouldn't you? You certainly would. that's the move that Esteban Ocon pulled off to get past his teammate Gasly. It just makes sense. Be careful, because if you're not banging in the laps, you might get repassed again. And was that Sergio Perez caught napping a little bit going into turn 14? Because guess what? Charles Leclerc has retaken the lead.
So he just cruised up and passed him.
Corinne Chandok's at Sky Race Control.
Coffee, this all comes back to a decision before qualifying. Sergio Perez came with a bigger rear wing, and he's already complained on the radio that he's a sitting duck. He's about to walk
6 for Verstappen.
So an extra five laps, extra 4 or 5 laps worth of tyre life.
Stay with him. Let's double check it. Let's see what's together.
As you can see, he's in DRS down there, of course, but Leclerc very much working on his own, isn't he? Sainz back in 10th place in the other Ferrari at the moment.
You can see just behind him and Fernando Alonso, Lewis Hamilton coming into the picture down at 12. He's not had the easiest of nights, and a puncture stopped his progress and relegated him down
A bit late towards them. Lots of discussions. I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the race we could hear that Gasly is quite frustrated because Ocon was told to hold position, cocked it deafened, didn't he, Crofty? Sorry, yeah, exactly. And now they're just happy to keep.
And took quite a lot of pain for it, and now Lewis Hamilton is shaping up for an overtake.
Down the inside goes Lewis Hamilton. We've already seen his teammate make contact there, but not Hamilton on that particular occasion.
He's then got the grip and the straight line speed, but as soon as he was out front, he lost it.
Yeah, and at the moment, Leclerc 1.5 seconds behind Verstappen with Perez. And I think he will get past them.
It's the taking of the lead.
It is, while we watch once again, how Max Verstappen took the lead in this McLaren.
Lando's been transferred to the hospital here now from the circuit medical centre, Crofty. They say it is just for precautionary observations. So Lando's okay, but he has now gone to hospital.
And Ibrahimovic watching that, thinking, it's a bit like when I missed from 3 yards out. Not that he did that very often, and not that Charles Leclerc does that very often. Race has kind of fallen apart here with tyre wear. Albon down in 12th and Sargent down in 16th. That's a 1.9 second stop, by the way, for the McLaren team. They hold the record at 1.8 seconds. I'm glad Pierre Gasly saw Hamilton coming there, and I think for one moment he didn't know he was there.
That would be an airplane crash if those two connected in there at just under a couple of hundred.
Fully committed. Lewis Hamilton's tyres. Esteban Ocon has Lance Stroll right behind him, and Stroll has significant place on the Alpine at the moment.
And Stroll was having, we haven't seen much of it, we haven't heard much about it, but he's having a
From Oscar Piastri behind him. Piastri on a much fresher set of tyres is gaining by about 2 seconds a lap.
Hamilton about to pass Alonso down the straight. He's got the slipstream, he'll have the power. Same lap, some laps. Now he's got those fresh tyres on. So Piastri might still steal a World Championship points.
This has been a super Las Vegas Grand Prix. You've had a bit of everything. And when you Stroll, I would imagine what Aston Martin need is Stroll to back up George Russell so that Alonso can finish within 5 seconds, but I'm not quite sure that is easy.
So let's get Piastri
And Leclerc pushing him towards the end of this race and trying his best to get that second place back.
I think he's driven a brilliant race, Charles Leclerc. He's done his best, quite how they allowed only a second to Leclerc, actually. So, as requested, he's backed off a bit to try to give his teammate a nice slipstream down the Las Vegas Strip for the final time.
Yeah, check. Ocon 5th, Stroll comes 6th, then Sainz, Hamilton, Alonso and Piastri. Russell will finish down in 8th. What a grandstand finish to this Vegas race. That was a contradictory nature of Max Verstappen, it seems from time to time. But he put on a show on the track, as did our driver of the day, Charles Leclerc, despite that in the top 4. McLaren and Aston Martin, I think there's only 10 points now between McLaren in 4th and Aston Martin in 5th going into the final race of the season, and all those worth big